Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kadash. Double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles of greatness to the way and the Akim to the work of Yabashim Hashem, sincerity and truth, pushing the word of the Lord Yabashim Hashem on the highways and byways. This is Brother Nash at DC camp with another short edification for the Akim, because you already see, man, the issue between United States and Iran is heating up, so just gotta be in the spirit of the Lord Yabashim Hashem. You gotta pray, so this is the book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 164. It says, 7 times a day do I praise thee because of thy righteous judgment. So all this chaos you see upon the face of the earth, these are the judgments of the Lord Yahweh Shimei Shai. Right, those days of peace are over, and going to the time of war. We're living in the time of war. So expect more chaos, more complaints, more hot air bouncing back and forth between these so-called nations, that have a stake, in the dominion of this earth, because Esau wants to have the whole pie, you know, but Elam, the Iranians, they're not having it. They don't want to be dominated by the Edomite elites, man, that run the world. So, the tension is going to keep on increasing, and then, World War III is going to take place. It's inevitable. It's all the prophecies of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai. So I can just got to be grateful, man. These are precious times to be alive and to see the prophecies come to pass. You should not, be scared, of what should happen, man. You should be glorying, in the name of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai. This time your faith has to be on steroids. It's not going to be easy, but at least you always have to understand that the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai put you in this tough position to have faith in Him. Because our salvation is nearer than we believe. So just expect more troubling times to be taking place, man. More troubling times, to be upon the face of the earth. The economy is not really in good shape. So expect that to be going down the drain. Expect more protests on the streets, around the world. Expect all these political upheavals. So it's not gonna be easy, man, for people upon the face of the earth. Folks who have to go through that fire. Some folks are gonna get burned, some folks will survive. So that's the way the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah has set it up. And I'm gonna get the book of Joel. Yep, the book of Joel, chapter 2. And I'll start from I'm just gonna get keep a stay to the point. Verse 1. Alright, Joel chapter 2, verse 1 says, blow ye the trumpet in Zion. Alright. So that's why the men of the Lord have to warn our people. Warn them of the great destruction that's coming upon the face of the earth. The destruction that the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai is bringing to America. It's bringing to England, it's bringing to Russia, bringing to China, bringing to Japan, bringing to Saudi Arabia, bringing to Africa. So it's going to be crazy in these last days, man, So that's why we have to warn so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of, alright? So it says, blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is now at hand. So this is not a time, for folks to be talking and discussing about who's going to be running for president in year 2020. All that stuff is irrelevant, because I was looking at the news last night, here the so-called Israelite congressman or senator from South Carolina, whatever his name is, James Clyburn, talking, having a so-called fish fry. Oh man, like wow, terrible. So in time of war, man, folks are campaigning for election. Folks are, talking about fish fries. Folks are talking about, Trump's issue with so-called sexual assault. So all that crazy stuff is gonna come on the news anyway, but it's just a distraction. The main thing, you know, that folks need to be thinking of is the what's gonna happen, man. As about the tensions between the United States, you know, Israel and Iran. How is it gonna, proceed? So these people are nervous, man. All right. So whether they like it or not, man, the Lord Bashima is gonna force it to happen. A lot of people don't want it. So I just got a quick video from RT News. We just play that, and then you have an idea what you gotta do with, because Esau says he doesn't want war, but his action says different. So people say action speaks louder than words. You gotta be judged by by your character, by your actions.
Donald Trump says he called off an airstrike against Iran with just 10 minutes to spare. The attack was meant to be in retaliation for Tehran downing a US military surveillance drone.
That's a big lie right there. That's a big lie. You won't believe a damn thing like that. So it's all smoke and mirrors. It's all smoke and mirrors. Just Esau trying to project, that he's got the capabilities, he's got the strength. So that's exactly what Esau's all about, man. He always, trying to pretend that he's the almighty badass on the block, but he doesn't know that the Lord Yabashima Shai set him up for failure. This is just acting on, on an illusion that he's the top dog on the face of the earth, but that's not how the Lord Yabashima Shai set it up. Because Esau's destruction is not just around the corner. It's at the door.
Over the Gulf region Strait of Hormuz.
They came and they said, "Sir, we're ready to go. We'd like a decision." I said, "I want to know something before you go. How many people will be killed?" In this case, Iranians. They said, came back, said, "Sir, approximately 150.
That's BS. That's BS, That's irrelevant. 9/11 happened, the so-called conspiracy to destroy the building. And to this day, man, Esau doesn't want to talk about it. He want to deflect. And then you have the war they had to go fight in Afghanistan, the war they had to go fight in Iraq. So Esau's all pretending, man. He wants to do something, but he's trying to build up that narrative, trying to get the people on board, but it's all fake, man. You can't believe, that the U.S. military says they're ready to go. You're ready to go. Go where? You guys ain't going nowhere until the Lord Yabashima Shai gives the green light. All right. So all they're doing right now is just posturing. If they want to, if they have to invade, they would have done that a long time ago. But all according to the plans of the Lord Yabashima Shai. So the Messiah just got them, warming up on the sidelines.
And I thought about it for a second. I said, you know what? They shot down an unmanned drone, and here we are sitting with 150 dead people, and I didn't like it.
Well, the cancelled strike is the closest the US.
Come on, man. Didn't like it, man. War's business. He still doesn't care about the casualties of war. All it counts is, his wins, man. He doesn't care about the losses. That's why he has all these weapons. That's why he has all these so-called research programs and technology, to boost the outcome in his favor. So Esau's just playing games, man, playing tricks, trying to play, on people's mind and intellect. So it's all a front, man. It's all a front. So he knows that his time is up, man. So America is weak, but they still have one last one last breath in them. So they're gonna use that, and that's it. There's no oxygen left in the container, so one last breath, and that's it.
And I didn't like it.
Well, the cancelled strike is the closest the US has been to a direct confrontation with Tehran. Iran said the US drone it had shot down earlier had flown into its airspace. Washington says it was operating over international waters. This month, the US also blamed Tehran for attacking 2 oil tankers in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran denied those accusations, claiming that Washington had staged the attack. A year after the US quit the 2015 nuclear Iran deal, it sent carriers and warplanes to the Persian Gulf. It also imposed crippling sanctions on Iran and ended waivers on countries that import Iranian oil. During his campaign, Donald Trump said another war in the Middle East would be a big mistake, but he then assembled a team of people who were known to favour regime change in Iran. In fact, his cabinet does appear to be packed with people who do contradict the president's views too, as Caleb Moppin explains.
So, Trump has decided not to bomb Iran for now. He says it's for humanitarian concerns.
And then the so-called late Senator John McCain was singing that bomb Iran, a rendition of the Beach Boys song. So, it's all smoke and mirrors, man. They're gonna go to war, whether they like it or not. They can't avoid it, So so-called Amalekites in the land of Israel be the one to lead the way, And then Lindsey Graham, senator from South Carolina, talked about, Amalekites in the land of Israel. You have to be the one to do it, and then America has to back them up. So just imagine, man. That's spoken like a true. Like a true prophet of the Lord Yahweh. So I get another precept here. This from the book of Zephaniah, chapter 1. So this is verse 14. It says, the great day of the Lord Yahweh Kwakadash is near. It is near and hasted greatly. So that's exactly what we're looking forward to, the destruction of this World War III, man, that the Lord Yahweh has already ordained to take place, And it says, even the voice of the day of the Lord. And that's what the men of the Lord have been stressing and yelling and shouting, making videos of, on the highways and byways, So a lot of folks don't get it, but the ones that know get it, all right? So it says, the mighty men shall cry there bitterly. So when the destruction is happening, a lot of these soldiers will be weeping and crying. They'll be upset. They see their bodies die. Hear about martial law on the soil of America, on American soil. Hear about the madness going on in America, while they're overseas. Then all of a sudden, that's it. They get taken out. So it's gonna be a bitter war, man. It's gonna be a sad war for Esau. Esau has nothing to gain in this World War III because he's not gonna win. All right. So he knows his time is up, but he just wanna give it a try to see how he can overcome. All right. So it says that day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress. All right. So time of Jacob's trouble, distress upon nations, men, the hands on their sides, like women, men giving up the ghost, people bugging out, It says a day of wasteness and desolation, all right, from all the destruction of all those missiles hitting, people dying here and there, all right. So a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. All right, so it's going to be crazy as you see the madness coming upon the face of the earth, man. It's going to be so much violence, bloods, on the face of the on the face of the streets, homes burning down, cop cars ripped apart, cops on the street all dying and torn apart, soldiers all maimed and losing it, people just crazy, pregnant women all messed up, miscarriages, psych wards being destroyed because there's no medication available. So it's gonna be chaos, man. These last days, man. And then we get another precept. This is from a book of Jeremiah. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 16. So it says, cut off the sower from Babylon, and him that handleth the sickle in the time of harvest. For fear of the oppressing sword, they shall turn every one to his people, and they shall flee every one to his own land. So when all hell's breaking loose here in America, folks will just renew their passports and bounce, and go back to their so-called countries. So it's gonna be crazy in these last days, man. But for the elect, they don't really have much to worry about because the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai is gonna guide them. So it doesn't matter how much adversity they have to deal with. At the end of the day, it all adds up to their salvation. And that's why the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai expects us to hold on to his words in these last days. The assurance that he's already made to us, we need to stick with it. It's not a time to be afraid and be a coward. This is a time to speak up and speak according to the gospels of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai. Alright, so this is a great calling. This is a great time to be living in. A lot of the prophets didn't really live long, to see certain prophecies. But this one that we're in right now, it's really special, man. So I'm just gonna keep it that short because you see how it is, man. Play the video some more, and that's it.
Concerns. However, National Security Advisor John Bolton does not share Trump's concerns, apparently, for protecting human lives. In fact, John Bolton has been itching to attack Iran for years.
The Iranian regime must be made aware there will be tangible and painful consequences. The attack.
I see that's from 2006. A lot of brothers even know about the Lord, even the Lord's name, and his son's name back then. Brothers are still out there in the world, picking cotton. Some brothers are locked up. Some brothers weren't even born yet. All right, so it's beautiful to see that these things are taking place, man. Now the brothers are awake. They're getting sealed. It's a beautiful thing, man. So, John Bolton doesn't care about the casualties of war and the collateral damage. Even during the time of the war in Iraq, war in Afghanistan, you see all the coffins draped with the American flag of the so-called transport plane, Delaware. So it's not really a big issue for these elites, man. They understand what they're looking forward to, and those that think they're being emotional, no, they're playing for keeps. So the men of the Lord shouldn't be having any emotions about people dying and getting destroyed, man. You should be praising the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai.
A required element to stop this regime from getting nuclear weapons. Policy of the United States of America should be the overthrow of the mullah's regime in Tehran. Before 2019, we here will celebrate in Tehran.
It seems a bit strange that Donald Trump, who campaigned on a platform of not launching new wars and has reiterated that.
Yeah, so you gotta give it to John Bolton, man. The guy is consistent, man. That guy's no regular damn politician. If he were the president of the United States, man, damn. No. That would be a fast forward, man. First day in office, boom, 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 boom. So that's the kind of people in Esau's cabinet, in Trump's cabinet, man. Because Trump is the puppet. He doesn't have a say on who he chooses for different offices, man. So it doesn't matter what he thinks, man. The Lord Yahweh Shema Shai has already handpicked, all these warmongers to be on Trump's on Trump's team. The coach, the Musa is the coach. So Trump doesn't have I was saying who the coach puts on the team.
During his presidency, would then go hire John Bolton. However, Bolton seems to fit an interesting pattern when it comes to Trump appointees. Trump articulates...
Yeah, so John Bolton, man, that guy is an ultimate free agent, man. The guy making all types of jump shots, 3-point shooters and all that stuff. So the guy is good at what he does, man. Everyone else got to take a page out of his book, and go hardcore to the paint.
Trump articulates one position very clearly, and then he hires someone with a completely different stance. For example, Trump seems to be wildly critical of China.
We can't continue to allow China to rape our country.
However, Trump's Secretary of Transportation is Elaine Chao. Now, Elaine Chao has more than close family ties to the Chinese government. She and her husband...
So that's just let you know, man, that the elites, man, they already got their decks. Their decks, their decks stacked up, and so all that you see on the screen right here is just the downfall of America. There is no so-called, false narrative to this. America was already set up for destruction, so that's why you have all these so-called gatekeepers, man. Folks can't really move up into these positions and make America a stable place, because these so-called gatekeepers don't want nothing good for America. The Constitution has already been destroyed, so the economy is destroyed. So what else can they do? You got to make sure everything goes down and make sure they have that nail in the coffin.
Senator Mitch McConnell have reportedly received millions of dollars worth of gifts from family ties. Now, Trump has wildly attacked the banking sector, and he's promised to drain the swamp. But when it came time to fill those financial posts, many of the appointees were former execs at the financial giant Goldman Sachs. Trump also likes to attack drug companies.
I'd like to bring a federal lawsuit against those companies. I'd be very, very firm on that, because what's happening with drugs in this country and throughout the world, but in our country, it's a disgrace, and we can stop it.
It has become a major crisis, with the country facing an epidemic of opioids. So who does Donald Trump appoint to be his drug price control regulator? Well, Trump's Health and Human Services Secretary is Alex Azar. He is a former Big Pharma president who actually set some of the prices that Donald Trump slammed. Now, Trump has also bemoaned the military-industrial complex and its influence on foreign policy.
You do have a military-industrial complex. They do like war. In Syria with the caliphate. So I wipe out 100% of the caliphate. I say, I want to bring our troops back home. The place went crazy. They want to keep, you have people here in Washington, they never want to leave. Someday people will explain it.
Well, this is an example.
You do have a group, and they call it the military-industrial complex.
Trump's first Secretary of Defense was a former Boeing executive. He then replaced him with somebody who used to work at Raytheon. When Trump speaks up on Twitter about crucial issues facing America, it seems like he doesn't seem to notice that some of the people he's appointed to solve America's problems are those who created them in the first place. Caleb Boppin.
That's the point right there, man. So there's no solving America's problems, man. America was meant to be destroyed. That's why you have all these folks in all these different government positions, all these corporations that own America, lock, stock, and barrel. So any politician that wants to go against the grain, they know what they're going to get. They're going to get that pink slip. And they get something special to go with it. So that's just the point right there, man. All these politicians, they don't care. They've already given up the fight. They don't have no faith in America's government anymore, man, because they know it's just a dog and pony show. They know everything has been stacked against the American people. So, they're upset, but they just go with the flow, enjoy the last, the last check they're getting from their bosses, and they call it a day. All right, so that's the point there. I can, just pray the Lord about that keeps you safe and keeps your senses, exercised to see what's going on in Babylon, man. All right, so you don't have to worry, and be losing sleep over a place that the Lord has already condemned. So Kahala Yahal Bashim Yahshua Bashim Kwakadash Double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles of Great Mr. Ruwe and Akim, pushing the word of Yabashima Shai with all sincerity and diligence of mind. Yep, so just keep your ears open, man. We got more development coming on this situation. Shalom.